Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's Mike here at Imperial Tropicals on a Friday afternoon that is just absolutely beautiful. You can see we're in a little bit of a different setting today. We are out in the field. We are experiencing some really bad internet crashes in our warehouse. So we have Spectrum here. They're out here trying to fix it for us. And while they're working on that, we are going to do our live stream and in the field, and maybe if you guys want to in the greenhouse today. So if you have any questions you guys want to talk about or any topics, let me know. Today was probably not going to see as much as we normally see. If we go into the warehouse without the Wi-Fi, we're definitely going to lose service in there, and the stream just goes really bad. So today we're just going to be spending time outside and answering any questions, and also be sure you stick to the end because we are going to be doing a giveaway as usual. So today we're going to do a $25 giveaway for Facebook users and $25 giveaway for YouTube users. So stick to the end and we will get to that. Davo says, show the alligator pond. No, so all of these ponds here are potential alligator ponds, guys. So uh, this is a pond that has recently been taken down and gone through our cleaning process that we refer to as mucking. And then we use lime to ensure that you can see the white around the banks. Uh, so that's lime. It's dehydrated lime that we use to ensure that we kill any snails or any fish that potentially survive our cleaning process. This is to ensure biosecurity, make sure our lines stay pure for fish that we grow out in our ponds. So you can see here, this one is about a third of the way filled. So it's probably been filling just starting today. Um, Now the water is coming from our deep well. You can see the water coming in at the far end of the pond right there. And that's about full. That's full force right now. So that's our pond is filling as fast as it can. Typically it takes us about 2 days to fill the ponds. And then from there it takes about 2 weeks before we're ready to put fish in there. A good sign for us to know when these ponds are ready is when we start to see large populations of mosquito larvae. Now that only takes about a week, but there's a very small time frame we have to add fish into these ponds where everything's perfect. So when it comes to adding fry to these ponds, 1 to 2 weeks after cleaning and filling is usually perfect. If we wait too long, the the mosquito larvae start getting eaten by larger predators and larger bugs, and then those can actually predate on the fry. So you don't want to wait too long, and you don't want to put them in too early because then we're missing the benefit of having all the live food. Hello, my name is Nobody. Hello, Lotto Man. Mostly Mabuna. How's it going? So, guys, if you have any topics you want to talk about today, or if you have any questions about what goes on in our field or how we do things, if you want to see anything, this is outside. Now we have 20 acres here. Right over there is our warehouse. This is the new warehouse. This is the owner's home, and over here we have more ponds. So we have about 140 ponds in total. So if you have any questions about how we do things or time periods on how long it takes fish to grow or anything like that, let me know. If not, I'm just going to drive around a little bit. I am going to talk about some fish that are going to go on sale today, starting at 1 o'clock. Also, I want to mention last night I was here until 10 p.m. with a small crew of people. We did get another import in. This one was from Brazil. We got a lot of plecos. We got some really cool catfish species. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Aspidoris. They're kind of like elongated cories. They're small. We got a few different species of those in. Um, gold nugget plecos, fine spot gold nugget plecos. So all of those just came in last week, so that's pretty exciting. Um, and we are looking at 2 weeks minimum to get them through our quarantine process, which is deworming, putting them on an antibiotic, because a lot of these fish suffer from ammonia burns or just fin rot from the shipping. A lot of these fish are wild caught, so they still have to acclimate into being in a tank. Moses C, will we have lemon Oscars? We did not get any. And I don't know if we've ever had some like really nice lemon Oscars in. Uh, so as of right now, I'm gonna say no, but that would be a nice one to get in. So Jack had a really good question. I'm gonna post it up here. Jack asked, "How do y'all deal with stuff like herons, raccoons, and with the ponds?" So um, I was gonna turn around. There was some birds I was gonna show you guys, but I don't see any right now. They actually flew away when I drove up. So herons are really good predators. They're really efficient at wiping ponds out. They're not super fast, but they will slowly pick away at a pond. So what we do is we have bird cannons on the farm, and we move them around with us, kind of where we're working. Now, when the ponds are full, it's more difficult for the herons to catch fish. You can see mostly the banks are pretty steep, except for here at the shallow end of the pond. This is the only area where the herons will really have an advantage to hunt. On the other sides, and you can see they're pretty steep. The herons don't really hunt there. So when the ponds are full, we're all good. But when we start to move pumps around because we want to pump the pond down to catch the fish, that's when the herons will swoop in and they'll stand on these banks, and they're really effective at getting the fish behind us. So what we have to do is move kind of quickly, and we also have the bird cannons. Now, bird cannon is just a propane tank hooked up to basically a ignition system that just creates a loud boom, and that typically keeps the birds away. Now the raccoons, they're not an issue in the ponds, but they can be an issue in our greenhouses. So in the greenhouses, what we do is we just make sure our doors are closed and try our best to prevent them from going into the vats. When they're in the vats, it's basically like trying to catch fish in a barrel for them. It's relatively easy. The main concern is they can tend to tip over the standpipe in the vat, and then we run into an issue of the fish running out of water because they knocked it over. So raccoons haven't been a huge deal. There's a lot of people here at all times, and to prevent any issues from them inside, basically we just make sure the doors are closed, and that's mostly how we handle that. One other thing we have to be really mindful of is making sure we don't leave food out. If we leave food out, that's obviously going to invite things like raccoons and possums and rats. So as long as we keep the food in our food building, which is secure from uh, rodents and other animals, we're pretty set on that. All right, so Bill looks like he has a question. I'm unsure if Carly got to it. Oh, let me put that on stage. So Bill is asking, got a Salvini, has some funk on his dorsal fin. What would you use to treat this? It's in a quarantine tank alone right now. So Bill, first thing I would do is salt. Salt is very effective. It helps fish get over a lot of things. It helps promote the growth of their slime coat, which usually a lot of times is enough for the fish. Um, Now, if it's really bad, you get into using an antibiotic. A really good one that's going around, it treats for a lot of different things, is General Cure. And then any kind of like Furan or Furan 2, I'm not sure if they still sell those things. Um, Now we buy a lot of medications in bulk and a lot of those aren't like readily available. We get them from our local co-op store, the Fish Farmer Co-op in Florida. So um, any antibiotic would definitely help with that, and salt for sure. So I'm gonna scroll down, guys, catch up to some of these comments. And if we are gonna go look at a couple ponds, guys. Before we do that, I'm gonna turn you around. You guys can see some ibis flying in. There's just a couple over there, but those are another predator we do have to deal with here on the farm. Um, and they're more abundant and quick at getting in our business when we're trying to work in these ponds. So the bird cannon helps just keep them at bay until we're done working and get the pond filled back up. So here's the other end of the pond. You can see all the white is powdered dehydrated lime. So there's that. Let's go take a ride. We can go look at some ponds. To our right over here. You're not probably going to be able to see it. We intentionally fertilize these ponds so the water is a dark green color, and this promotes a lot of good things for us as fish farmers. It promotes the growth of a lot of small organisms like little Daphnia type bugs in the water. It also allows the fish to be protected from the Florida sun. Now, the Florida sun's intense, and as you see, these ponds get no shade at all. They're just wide open. It also protects them from predators. The darker the water, the harder it is for things like birds to see. Um, I don't know if you guys just saw, but there was a little soft-shell turtle. Now that is another issue we do have to deal with here. So let's go see if we can see any fish in any of these ponds. It may be difficult right now just due to the fertilization. The ponds are pretty dark, and that, I mean, it's a benefit, but the only thing, it also helps with the prevention of hair algae growing in these ponds. Hair algae makes it really difficult for us to collect the fish out of the ponds. It makes so once you go to net them up, then the hair algae will get wrapped up and destroy the fish's slime coat, and it makes it harder for us to acclimate them and get them through our quarantine process to sell. Guys, I just lost my paper. It almost blew into this pond. So before I lose this paper for good and the wind takes it away, let's go over some of the sale items that I have that's going to go on sale. And then I see Randy had a good question as well that I'll answer. So Randy said, can Mabuna live in a farm pond? No telling what's in it as other fish. Now, Randy, if it's a man-made pond on your property that has no way for the fish to escape, I would say as long as the temperatures are good, they should be fine. But if it is a natural pond with native species in it, I would not put tropical fish in it. Obviously, we want to protect our wildlife and we don't want to ruin anything like that. But if it's just an empty pond, man-made on your farm, yes, they're pretty hardy as long as the water isn't getting polluted too much with runoff from uh, fertilizers and maybe runoff from animals in the ammonia spikes. As long as that doesn't happen, they should be fine. And also just consider temperature. It can't be too cold. They can only withstand so much. I would say if it gets below 60 degrees Fahrenheit during your winters, they could not, most likely they're not going to last unless you supplement heating in that pond. All right, so guys, I am going to talk about this week's upcoming sale items. Some of these fish are going to be pretty cool. So we have the Metria Clima Aurora Lacoma. So that's going to be a Mabuna, your 2 to 3 inch unsexed. So those are going to be on sale. Banjo catfish, really cool fish. If you have no experience with banjo catfish, and you have a semi-community or soft water tank, I highly recommend you checking them out. They're so cool. They like to spend their day underneath the substrate. And as you're cleaning, you might not ever see that fish really unless it's time to eat and they come out to eat. And then they'll basically immediately go right back under the substrate. I recommend keeping them in a sand substrate because they do like to burrow. And that would be very difficult for them if they are trying to burrow in gravel. So those are really cool. The 2 to 3 inch unsexed banjo catfish. The next item is going to be dwarf pea puffers, another really cool fish. Um, Highly recommend keeping those if you've never kept them. They pack a lot of personality for such a tiny little fish, and they love to investigate all the different areas of their tank. Next, now this is going to be a big one, guys. So if you're interested at all in discus, you might want to perk up here. You got your blue diamond discus. So we don't have many available, but we're putting those on sale. The 2 to 3 inch size, a 3 to 4 inch size, and a 4 to 5 inch size. Um, they look really nice coloration on them. And I believe we're going to be highlighting those on our newsletter this week. So if you check out our newsletter, they should be one of the fish highlighted on there. Also, the South American bumblebee cat, another really cool one. I showed them a few live streams back eating. They're really ravenous eaters, really cool to watch. And then the Odessa barbs. That's a fish that is, if you're looking for a red and just kind of metallic-y type of fish in your tank, they are it as far as like a schooling fish. Odessa barbs, when you get them, they're going to be kind of tan, kind of lack color, but if you wait, the males of them just become absolutely phenomenal and you get lots and lots of color. Um, Next, now this is a big one too, and I'm eyeballing these fish up myself, is the red tail penguin tetra. And those are Riotelis pyrus. So those are from the Riotelis. Definitely check those out. Really cool. Very rarely seen here in the US. You're going to get nice colors. You're getting some blues and reds with a nice black stripe. And then Ysichromis blue tipped. That's a really cool one. They are a caresless species. They are endangered in the wild. So pretty cool if you're interested in trying to keep anything that's relatively rare and endangered. That would be a nice one. And then we have for our African cichlid all male keepers, we have the blue neon peacock, the 3 to 4 inch males of the German strain. Those are going on sale this week. And then the last item is going to be the 2 to 3 inch Therichthes aureus blue. So those are all going to be on sale today starting at 1 o'clock. And then I'm going to talk about some new arrivals that are going to hit the website. But first, I want to answer this question for Amy. Why don't you cover the ponds with mesh or something so you don't have to worry about predators? So, Amy, that is a great question. Now, in the past, we used to have bird netting over all the ponds. But the problem with that is the netting breaks down over time, and it also makes it difficult to get into these ponds and work. As big as we may seem as a farm with 20 acres, there's about 20 employees, and only 3 of them work full time in the field. So it makes it relatively difficult to stay on top of all of that. So, um, also, you get other unforeseen circumstances where you don't really want to happen, like birds getting caught up in the netting and dying. That's really unfortunate, and we don't want that to happen. So, we just try to take measures. that are more environmentally friendly, like the bird cannons. But that is a great suggestion. Now, some other farms do use bird netting, and we have in the past, but we currently do not. So let's go look at some other stuff, guys. Let's go check out the greenhouses. We're just gonna drive past them. I'm not gonna really walk inside of them. They're gonna be loud. We have the fans going. The fans help keep the greenhouses cool. Right now, the temperatures outside are in the mid to upper 80s, and that means our greenhouses, without the fans running, would be around 120 plus degrees. Now, here is a good pond we can look at, and you guys could probably see some silhouettes of some fish. They think I'm feeding them. So, guys, let me know in the comments. I'm not going to tell you. Let me know if you guys can have a guess at what fish these are. I'm going to try to hold the camera as steady as I can for you. See if you can get a good look. I'd like to see if you guys can guess this. I don't know how good the quality is for you, but let me know if you guys have a guess on what fish these are. Now, this is a fish that we've bred here for a very long time, and they do fantastic in our ponds. And we actually keep them out all winter long, but we just cover the pond with greenhouse plastic. So I don't know if you can see the wires. There's like 5 wires. They're very thin that go over the pond, and we run greenhouse plastic over them, and that helps keep the ponds warm during the summer. So I'm seeing a couple. Holly's guessing a Cara. Shob's guessing a Cara. That is not correct. Chevy says some sort of cichlid. That is correct, Chevy. But what specific cichlid do you think? I'll give you one. I'll give you one guess. I'll try to get closer. They're all starting to stir up the water even more. So I'm gonna give you one clue. Their common name is closely related to a very famous painting. They are black and blue spotted. The males are. So I'm seeing some guesses here. You guys are getting a little farther off. The Akara was probably closer. They are from Madagascar. Now they got the water all churned up. Oh, there you go. Mostly Lee got it. So, and so did My Name Is Nobody. And so did Susan. They are the Starry Nights. But this is just one of our ponds. You can see all the fish in the pond. There's a ton of them, and they're very hungry. All right, so let's go check out. Let's just go look at the greenhouses. We're not, like I said, though, we're not going to go in, and then we're going to get into. Actually, we're going to get into the giveaway right now as we drive. And then when we get there, we'll talk about some new fish that are hitting the website today that I'm pretty excited about. So the giveaway, guys. Today we're going to choose a number 1 through 300. There will be a winner for Facebook, and there will be a winner for YouTube. Please only guess one time. And as usual, we're going to go with the person who guessed closest to the number or the number right on the head without going over. Also, if somebody guesses your number, like, we're gonna go whoever guessed the number first. So if there's multiple guesses of the same number, we're gonna have whoever guessed it first be the winner. There goes our internet service. Hopefully it's getting fixed. And then also, if you accidentally guess something that somebody else already did, you can make one other guess. That's okay. So let's go look at these greenhouses, and then we'll talk about some new fish that came from, some of them came from our Colombian order that are finally through quarantine. It's been about 3 weeks, I believe. They've been dewormed and just acclimated. So that's pretty cool. So here we are coming up on one of the backs of one of our greenhouses. This is greenhouse number 6. In the back here, let me move. There you go. In the back here, you can see the fans is pulling all the hot air out, or pushing it out. So um, this is greenhouse 6. Here's where we keep a lot of our Central and South American cichlids we breed in-house. And then right next door, we have greenhouse number 5. And real quick, guys, I want to highlight something while we're here. And while you guys are guessing, I want to highlight this. So these are our fish traps that we use in our ponds when we want to collect small amounts of fish that are small enough to fit in the holes. The biggest fish that could typically fit in here are about 2 to 3. Sometimes you might get a 3 to 4 inch fish in there. So what we do is we put fish bait right here, and we just throw them into the ponds, and they have weights on the bottom of these traps, and we let them sink. And typically it takes about 15 to 30 minutes to catch what we need, and then we retrieve the fish. We then take the backs off of the trap and dump the fish into our containers, and then bring them back up here to the greenhouse to sort. That's pretty cool. Nice little thing that a lot of you guys probably haven't really seen or even thought of, but that is just one way we get fish out of our ponds. The other way is by seining fish into our ponds. Now I'm gonna peek my head into this greenhouse. It's gonna get loud. You can hear the blower right here. This is our air, and the fan in the back of the greenhouse. I'm just gonna give you a sneak peek of a pond we just brought in, just really quick. Now, I haven't checked them out today, but I did see them yesterday. So here is 2 vats, and these are saffron peacocks. Now these just came out of our pond yesterday, so they're currently not available, but they are acclimating into our vats. And from here, after a couple days, we're going to separate them. After we separate them, they'll go into various locations, like in the warehouse, in the fish tanks, and into another greenhouse where they'll be sorted even further by sex and size. And then if they're small, we'll put them back in the ponds to grow out even more. You can turn it back on. Thank you. Randy L., you could easily turn a chicken house into a fish house. Absolutely. All you have to do is put a little greenhouse plastic on top, and you're good to go. All right, guys. Well, it looks like the numbers are stopped coming in. So hopefully, I don't think I showed this at all before. I hope I didn't. So Facebook number is 26. And the winning YouTube number was 288. So 26 and 288. Carly's going to work on that, finding the winners. And while she does that, I'm going to talk about a few fish as I grab my paper. We're going to talk about a few fish that are going to come in, that are starting to come through the quarantine process, and they should be up on the website today. Also, for my plant lovers, here's a really large Monstera deliciosa. I don't know the whole name, but you can see it is fruiting, which is pretty cool. I know a lot of people are also into plants, so I just wanted to show that. All right, so guys, I showed this fish last week. Really cool fish, really funny face, big eaters, big appetite. the gulper catfish. So the gulper catfish are going to be on the website today. I actually just put 10 of them on the website up about 30, 40 minutes ago. So really cool. If you're interested in just unique fish or fish with like that kind of reminds you of a frog when their face, gulper cats, definitely really cool. John asked a good question, guys. I'm going to answer that for him. Do we line the ponds with anything? Water doesn't leak out, so water doesn't leak out. No, we do not. So our ponds are, I mean, yes, we do, but we don't. Our ponds are all clay based, so it's just a clay bottom, and the water does not leak out. The next fish that got on the website today that just came through quarantine is the flag-tailed procholotus. If you're not familiar with them, really cool fish. Really, they can get pretty big, big schooling fish. They have a shark-like shape to them with a black and white and red coloration to them and silver. Definitely worth checking those out if you have a larger tank and you want something big and schooling that just kind of stands out and you don't see every day. Next, we have the red striped earth eaters. Those are, I believe, the Surinensis. Those are at 2 to 3 inches. Those went up on the website today. And also the Brokies CW106, which I really wish the internet was working so I could show you guys. But unfortunately, I'm pretty sure it's still down. So, let me see if Carly has posted who won yet. Just for you guys' reference, this is our feed room. It's a block building with cement floor and a roof, and it's lined. The roof is lined with wire to keep any um, rodents or anything out of our feed room. Now there goes one of our field workers. He is actually on his way to go pump down a pond with one of our tractors. You'll see the pump as he drives by again in a second. So the red thing he's pulling behind him is a pump. It's a very strong pump, and it rarely ever stops moving around here. We're always pumping with it, and that thing is a workhorse for us. Oh, Steve, yeah. So Steve says the whole pond of Starry Nights was really cool. Yeah, and you'll see. You can't see it probably in the video, but in person, you'll see like 50% of the males in there are just full color, just jet black, bright blue spots, and the other 50% are dulled down. And what happens is, as we catch the fish we need and sell them, the others right behind them just color right back up. So there's always just a constant stream of full color starry nights. It's really cool to see. Now here's the other side of our warehouse. So this is the outside, something you guys usually don't see. Um, and then let's just look at the front of the warehouse really quick. So part of the part of the evolution of the farm over the past few years is we've been trying to beautify the farm, make it more pretty and just look nice. So here's the very front of our warehouse. You got the palm trees, you got the Florida vibe, and then we have the plants up front. And then this is our bay door where all of your orders that you guys make every week, this is where they leave our facility from. UPS comes and picks them up, backs up to the store every day, Monday through Friday, and we ship them out right through that door. So that's pretty cool. So Carly got the winners. So it looks like the Facebook winner is Barbara Mako. So congratulations, Barbara. And the YouTube winner is Parm Fam. So congratulations, you guys. Be sure to email us at fish@imperialtropicals.com, and we will get you your codes for your discount on the website. Now, if we don't get back to you guys today, just know it's because our internet is down. Carly is actually doesn't work on site, so she's at home with internet. So lucky we still have her. But if we do not get back to you, we should get back to you Monday with a a code for your $25 gift cards to the website. So congratulations to you guys who won. Let's get back, see if you guys have any more questions while we're out here. So let's go look at another part of the farm. And if you guys have any questions about outside, we will answer them. So a little backstory on, not a backstory, but a little narrative about these ponds. So if we put fry in this pond, so if we take an African cichlid fry that is less than a month old and he's a quarter of an inch long, it takes us anywhere from 3 to 6 months to get them to that 3 to 4 inch size where you can distinguish male from female. That greatly depends on a couple things. One thing is feeding. How often are we feeding the pond? Now, that's going to depend on how hot it is outside. The warmer it is, the more often we are going to feed these fry, the more quickly their metabolism is going to work. And that in turn makes the fish grow quicker. So it really is temperature dependent out here. So here's another cool thing to see. You can see right here, we have a caterpillar over here, and this is what we use to dig out all of our ditches and our ponds. You can see behind it is a pile of dirt. The road is blocked behind him, and he is currently digging out. He's not there right now, but you can see he is digging out this ditch to make it deeper, because over time, these ditches, as we're cleaning the ponds, as we clean ponds, we pump the water from the pond into our ditch. As we're doing that, we're pumping a lot of silt and muck into these ditches. So over time, we have to dig it back out and we rebuild our roads basically and build them up higher. So we're just getting back to where it needs to be. And that just takes usually about every 1 to 2 years we're doing this. These ditches, this one, it's probably deceiving. It's probably 6 to 7 feet deep. And within a year, it could be anywhere like 1 to 2 feet deep. They fill pretty quickly. With all the erosion, you can see right here, the equipment drives through, it tears up the grass, which allows the sand and silt to get into the ponds. Then we clean the ponds and it ends up into the ditch. So that's just something, it's a constant part of the farm. So Stephen, that is a Steven said he thought the fish grew way faster because the size of the pond, and the temperature plays a big role. So yes, temperature is a huge factor. The warmer it is, the faster these fish are going to grow. Also, you got to think, when we're putting fish in these ponds, we're not putting 10 fish in these ponds. Now, these ponds are anywhere from like 20 to 30,000 gallons filled, but we're putting like thousands of fish in the pond at once. Our goal now, it might only be 1,000 fish. Let's say we put 1,000 fish in the pond. They're all competing with each other. They do have access to a lot of live foods, and they also do have access to, we feed them, but they still have to survive. They're out here in nature, so they have to use some of their energy to stay away from predators. Things like frogs, very difficult. Things like crayfish, very difficult for us to control. So they still have to use a lot of their energy to try and just stay alive, but they do grow really fast. I don't think you can grow fish faster than a pond not necessarily in Florida, but a pond with lots of available water and live food. Chevy says the flagtail procholotus is a beautiful big fish. That is correct, Chevy. Very cool. A lot of people here, they never saw them before. And when they came in, a lot of people who work here, a lot of employees are like, oh man, I want to buy some of those. I can't wait till they're ready. I want to bring some home. Ethan says it's his dream to own a fish farm or at least work at one. So Ethan, if you are in Florida, we are currently hiring. We do have an ad on Indeed, so you can look into that. Um, so you can look into that. Or if even if you just have a small piece of property of your own, you can have a small farm operation at your own home. You could do above ground ponds, you can do in ground ponds. Weather does really kind of make that decision for you if it makes sense or not. But if you're in a warmer climate, that is something that's very doable on a relatively small amount of land. You don't need 20 acres like we have here. You can do something relatively small and just do one or two species and do absolutely amazing things. So don't give up the dream. Tampa fish gents, any swamp darters coming in anytime soon? So any swamp darters we've ever had has been collected by myself or the owner, Mike Drotti, when we go out collecting. We haven't gone in a really long time. In the past, we've gone a few times together, but in recent history, we have not. So as far as I know, we do not have any swamp darters coming in anytime soon. If you guys aren't familiar with swamp darters, they are a Florida native fish, and they're really cool. I've personally kept them before, and they are really neat little fish. So here is some of the ponds at the back of our property. Oh, I just had a good question and I lost it. Carly, could you repin that? Carly, could you repin Chevy's question? I missed it. Thank you. Have you ever lost fish due to the heat? Have the ponds ever overflowed into each other and the other fish mixed? So, two great questions, and yes to both. So, heat is a factor. How do we battle that when we have, let's just turn around, all these ponds? There's no shade to be seen. How do we battle that? Well, the biggest thing we have in our favor is our well. Our well runs, you can see here, it runs at 72 degrees year round. So that in the summer, that helps keep our ponds cool. And in the winter, it helps keep our ponds warm. Another thing that we do is we will take a pump and set it up on a pond. And the biggest thing with the heat ends up being oxygen. So to get more oxygen into these ponds in the summer, if we see fish suffering, is we'll set up a one of our pumps that we use to clean the ponds, and we will use it to just shoot the water out back into the pond, similar to this, but at a much more rapid rate. And we're just basically creating surface agitation. We're just throwing a bunch of water on top and making a lot of water movement to help get some oxygen into the water. Typically, that happens when we have a pond that is overstocked and is ready to come in anyways. So if that happens, basically we know, hey, let's keep these fish alive until we can hurry up and bring them all back inside so we can sell them. The other question was, have these ponds ever overflowed into each other? And the answer is yes. The perfect example of that is this last winter when we got hit with the hurricane, and we had several ponds flow into each other. And what we did was, as soon as we could, we pumped down the ponds and we brought the fish in and separated them to the best of our abilities. In cases where we have fish that, say, we had two peacock ponds um, flow into each other, our standard for that is to, unfortunately, get rid of any fish that we are not 100% certain of what they are. This ensures our lines stay true. Now, in the field, most of these ponds for African cichlids, all those fish are line bred. So we are not actually breeding those fish out in these ponds. What we're doing is we're breeding the fish indoors, and we are taking the fry and growing them in the pond. Once they are large enough to sell, we bring them back indoors. So in most cases, we are not at risk of hybridizing lines that we are worried about keeping pure. So if, but back to that, if it were to happen and we weren't sure and it was a breeding pond, what we do is just get rid of any females we are unsure with, because of peacocks and haps, a lot of those females look similar, and we keep and sell the males that we know are absolutely 100% true. And then also we have other ways of getting rid of those fish. We do have wholesale stores, and when it comes to stores, sometimes they don't care about the species of what they are, and they just want a nice, colorful male fish, um, and we will sell them to that. But that is very rare. Um, we we do a lot of work. We are always running our pumps to make sure these ponds don't get too full. So we aren't like one small rainfall away from having ponds overflow into each other. Our property is 100% lined in giant ditches to ensure that we can just pump water out as needed and ensure that that doesn't happen. So we're really fortunate to have the space to do that. So guys, if we were talking about ditches earlier, this is a ditch that actually needs to be redug. Right now you can see it's getting narrow and a lot of vegetation is taking over. And as you can see, it's just vegetation all the way down. And then I'm going to answer one last question, guys, for Susan here, and then we're going to get going. Susan asked, do you ever have multiple fish in a pond, say a catfish species with cichlids? And that is absolutely. So almost all of our ponds have multiple species in it. Generally, it's two, sometimes three. So since we are just growing fish out, we usually have a one type of cichlid, maybe a peacock of the African cichlid variety, and then maybe a South American cichlid on top of them, and then a live bear such as a swordtail or molly or platy. So all of these ponds, we do polyculture multiple species in them, and that just, it's a better use of space and it allows us to keep more species. So, guys, if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I appreciate all of you guys who stuck around to the end. Uh, be sure to check out our website. We do have new fish coming in today. And also, we have the sales items. So, we got 10 new sale items going on today. And throughout the next coming week, we're going to have even more new fish that came in from Colombia like a month ago that are coming out of quarantine. Today we got, or yesterday, last night, we got a lot of really, really cool fish from Brazil. Not stuff we usually keep, a lot of rare stuff. So as long as everything goes well, in another 2 weeks to a month, we're going to have even more stuff from wild caught Brazil stuff. So, guys, check it out. Thank you for joining. Congratulations to the winners, and we will see you next week. Later.